us to Velvet Kitty Cat. And Velvet Kitty Cat was supposedly, from what I understand, was supposed to be released included on the Times album Ice Cream Castle. I wasn't aware of that, but as I was kind of reading up a little bit, I had heard that at some point in time, Velvet Kitty Cat was supposed to be included on that Ice Cream Castle album. I don't know where would have fallen, but it could have fallen anywhere. You're talking about an album that only has 6 or 7 songs on it, so there was room for it for sure. One of the things, though, interesting about the Time, though, as you've heard me say before, is the Time has a lot of projects that have always been kind of scrapped at some point in time. A lot of songs that they had an album called Old Dog New Tricks that had never seen the light of day. There's supposed to be some album that's already done and recorded and vaulted away somewhere. We've never seen that. There was another album that they were working on as well that also got scrapped, but pieces of it were put on Graffiti Bridge, like Shake, and you've heard Release It. You've heard all those songs. So the Time have always had a little bit of a love-hate relationship with a lot of things that have happened on the Prince side of things, simply because they just had so much material that they were trying to release and trying to get put into an album. But obviously, when you're using the name The Time, Prince has to be involved to a certain extent, hence the original 7 debacle that happened in the 2000s. And so I just think that Prince always had something going on, even in those slow years. He always had something going on that always kind of mucked things up for them. And so I'm curious to see, now that Prince has passed, whether or not the Time is going to be releasing some new material in the near future, and exactly how much they would be able to do in regards to legalities and whatnot. However, let's get back on track. Velvet Kitty Cat was one of those tracks that was supposed to be on the Times Ice Cream Castle and never ended up that way. And that's all rumor and speculation, but there you have it. And actually, this song was bounced around a couple times. It was supposed to be on Vanity's album at one point in time. Vanity's follow-up album that never happened, got scrapped. And then it was supposed to be on Apollonia's album, scrapped. So it would have been interesting to hear exactly what the Time version sounded like. But this is the version that Prince released during this period, so you at least have that. Okay, which takes us to Katrina's Paper Dolls, which we assume is maybe a shout out to Miss Vanity, who is Denise Katrina Matthews. That's the only Katrina that we're aware of that Prince hung out with and adored very much. So Katrina's Paper Dolls was, this. What's interesting is that in 2000, Prince had a huge celebration at Paisley Park called Prince's Celebration. That's the title. And there was a bunch of songs that were supposedly supposed to be chosen for Crystal Ball Volume 2. And Katrina's Paper Dolls was one of those songs that was supposed to be chosen for the Volume 2 of Crystal Ball. As well as Love and Sex, and there was another one. It doesn't matter. There was a whole bunch of songs that the crowd that was present at the celebration was able to choose for this Volume 2 of Crystal Ball that never saw the light of day. So we would have heard this song, but again, one of those things that kind of got tucked away and put down. And but a great song, very pop new wave, and I think this, these types of songs like Katrina's Paper Dolls, these types of songs are kind of what defined Prince, in that not necessarily so much funk, but more of a kind of a new wave type of feel to it. And I think that I think that a lot of people, gave Prince a lot of credit for doing the whole pop new wave thing. This was that sound, that kind of light pop sound with this new wave edge to it, really kind of defined some of the things that Prince had done. So it's cool to actually hear this song see the light of day. Which brings us to the last couple of tracks on the CD, which are no less interesting than the others, starting with Weekend F. And the thing about Weekend F is we've all heard the song as Weekend Funk on Graffiti Bridge. The song does not differ too much from that version. There is an extra verse that is in there, and an extended outro at the end. It is a 10-minute song. I think on Graffiti Bridge, I think the original version of that song is like 5 minutes or so. So this is an extra 3-4 minute additional outro that happens on this song that is very, very charged and sexually, a couple of things about this. There was a lot of this song has been through so many iterations. Obviously this version of the song was really kind of polished up. I know during the whole formation of it, during the process of Graffiti Bridge, George Clinton was involved in the vocals of it. He did add background vocals, so you can hear him in the background on the Graffiti Bridge version of it. But he did a lot more than what you're hearing on the song. There was actually pretty extensive presence from George Clinton on this song. But, at one point in time, and there's also, at one point in time, he had brought Mickey Free, that you know from Shalimar. Actually, he has much more of a hard rock background. He used to play in a band called Smokehouse, and he was discovered by Gene Simmons of Kiss. And Gene Simmons took Mickey Free and his band Smokehouse on tour with Kiss, and Smokehouse was opening up a lot of concerts for them. And then I guess there was an opportunity. I don't know how he found out about this opportunity, and he left the rock and roll world and went to work with Shalimar just in time for them to hit pretty big success. But anyways, Prince brought Mickey Free in to actually record vocals on this as well. So and there's so many different iterations. Even Andy Allo has an acoustic version that she kind of released in, I think it was 2011, called We, O-U-I, We Can Love, L-U-V. And you can still find it. Matter of fact, we'll probably find a little clip of it and we'll play it right here in this section here.
I could tell you stories till you get tired. I could play with your mind, but you would probably say that I was a liar. So I won't waste your time. I'm scared.
Okay, so that's so there's been so many iterations of this song and so many weird things happening with this track. It's kind of refreshing to kind of see the original version brought back out. But here's an interesting thing I'll say about this. I find it hard to believe that Prince gave the nod to release this. Even though this was recorded during that time in 1983, 1984, so it still falls in the mix. Prince was in a totally different headspace before he passed. He had already been at the forefront of getting close to going up on 15 years now. The last dozen to 13, 14 years of his performing career, he stopped cursing from the stage. Once he did Rainbow Children, And he became a little bit more involved and cognizant of some of the spiritual impact that he was having on people. It kind of took a lot of people off guard. I know Questlove tells the story about how he was playing on the... they were playing and he messed up and he cursed. Questlove messed up and he cursed, and Prince told him not to curse, and Questlove like, I learned that word from you. And that really hurt Prince's feelings a lot. Really kind of affected him quite a bit. So he made a lot of really, I hate to reuse that word again, but it's the most apt word for it, is cognizant choices about not using profanity from the stage. So I find it hard to believe that the inclusion of this particular song was Prince's doing. It's the one song that I kind of scratch my head and go, I doubt it. But, needless to say, it is there. There's a lot of positive reviews that people are having about this song, because it definitely, you get to hear it in all of its rawness. And for those of us who've been following Prince since the 80s, and some of you people who've been following it since the 70s, I'll be honest and say he first came on my radar about 1983. It's a lot of stuff and that he's got out there, and so we've heard all of it. So we've all heard Lady Cab Driver and went, what now? What? So, needless to say, glad to see it on here. I think it's a historical accuracy, but definitely not one that he probably put on there or probably decided to put on there. I'd be shocked, actually surprised, if he put that on here himself. And which brings us to the last song of disc 2, which is Father's Song. It is an unfinished song that his dad had written, and apparently, from what I understand, again, I read a lot of different articles and pieces. His father had actually come into the studio and they actually worked on it in Chanhassen together to finish it up and get it to where it was a good recording sessions. Apparently, John, Prince's father, was actually present at the recording session, and at the very, very beginning of the song, you can hear Prince talking to somebody, and from what I read, that he was talking to his dad. His dad was sitting there as he was recording it and finishing it. Very cool song. It's 5.5 minutes of really beautiful stuff. I mean, it's right up there with Alexa de Paris and any of the other classics that he has. I've always loved that song. The longest version we've heard up to date was what was included in Purple Rain as part of the movie in the background, but we've always just had just like a little teeny snippets, like 1.5-minute snippets, and they were horribly recorded. It was like a recording of a recording of a recording on a cassette tape on an 8-track recording. It was like so bad. So it's really nice to hear these crystal clear 5.5-minute clean start to finish version of that song. Very happy. So, all that being said, it's here. Purple Rain Deluxe Edition, 3 CDs. First CD being Purple Rain As You Know and Love It, but remastered by the man himself in 2015. One of the last final things that he was working on. One of the last final things that he was putting together before he passed. Disc 2, From the Vault and Previously Unreleased, which we just talked about in detail. Disc 3 being single edits and B-sides. All the songs that we've heard for many, many years that are all cult classics and favorites. Such as 17 Days and Erotic City and God and Another Lonely Christmas. One other surprise that kind of took me a little bit off guard was the lack of the presence of She's Always in My Hair. So that was released right in that mix, so was a little caught off guard that wasn't on there. Thought it may be. It's not. And then the 4th disc being a DVD, which is the concert recording of Purple Rain from Syracuse in 1985 from pretty much a direct VHS to DVD video without any color correction or presentation. What it's like, literally like they took the VHS and they stuck it in there and they put the DVD-R in there and said play, record, and that's what you got. Not even full screen. So needless to say, there were some shortcomings on this. So out of my rankings, you know, we do afros. We do from 1 afro for just don't even bother to 5 afros, which is you absolutely positively got to have it. For this particular release, Purple Rain Deluxe Edition, we're giving it 4 out of 5 afros. Again, the reason for the loss of the afro that keep this from being the absolute most perfect thing was just the omission of different things that we kind of expected to see, like She's Always in My Hair and things like that. The DVD didn't, I mean, it was something that's been in I mean, that VHS tape has been in circulation. We've seen it. It didn't seem like there was a lot of effort put into doing it. Hats off for the fact that they had, I'm taking hats off, that's fine. Hats off for including it in the collection. They didn't even have to do that. It's pretty awesome that they did. But, you know, that all being said, very cool, very, very cool collection. I just think that, I mean, if we were doing half stars, I would give it 4.5 stars. Okay. I just think there could have been a couple more things that could have been done, but I mean, for the most part, as a Prince fan, if you are a Prince fan, you have to have this. If you are only listening to it on Spotify, you are doing yourself a disservice. So you need to go out and you need to purchase it for a variety of reasons, not only because of the fact that you have to have it, because as a Prince collector, you have to have it, but on the same note, you're also not doing a service to Paisley Park and Prince's homage. You want Paisley Park to continue releasing these great, awesome stuff that we have been asking for and begging for from the vault. You have to make sure that you support them monetarily and make sure it's taken care of, because if they're not seeing the feedback and they're not seeing the monetary rewards for going out of their way to do stuff like this, it's going to stop. And you don't want them to cut off that faucet. You need to support Paisley Park in every single way possible, and that's the reason why I graded it as highly as I did. If I wanted to be a nitpicking jerk, I could have gone lower, but I'm not, because I'm very, very glad to get this. I think this is an awesome addition to the collection. I think the disc 2 is fantastic, with the release of so many songs, at least 4 songs that I never really heard good versions of. Father Song, Love and Sex, Katrina's Paper Dolls, a good version of Velvet Kitty Cat and Our Destiny. I mean, great stuff. And we're obviously hardcore Prince fans. There are other people out there who are not so much huge Prince fans, but love Prince. There's a lot of stuff here. There's a lot of good material here. Go out and get it. Purple Rain Deluxe Edition. That is your long, extensive review of this fantastic 3 CD, 1 DVD collection. Go pick it up right now. You can probably do it via the link below. If you're looking at the Funkatopia website, we'll probably put this on the YouTube channel as well. But the link will be below, so you can actually purchase it there. Get it, man. It's awesome. It's good stuff. Meanwhile, you would love Prince. Make sure that you head to Funkatopia. Go to funkatopia.com, funkatopia.com. Click on Funk Radio and download the Funked Up app for iPhone and Android, or just listen online if you're too lazy to do that. We play Prince from 6 to 12 Eastern Standard Time. That's 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. and also 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. So you can listen to Prince 12 hours a day on the Funked Up app, commercial free. Commercial free for now, you know. You never know. You never know. So you can listen all day long as much as you possibly want. to funk music all the time. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, commercial free. You gotta love it. You can listen to it all and funked up, including tracks from this very album. But again, support them. Go out and buy the physical product, please. Beg of you. You'll love it, and you will actually hear the audio difference. He didn't do this remastering so that you could listen to 128-bit MP3 files. Go out and purchase it and listen to the difference. It's fantastic. So for right now, it's Mr. Christopher signing out with Funkatopia. Go get it now. See ya.